I made over $100,000 selling beats on BEATSTARS, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it. And I'm gonna give you 5 to 6 tips that I genuinely wish someone told me when I was first starting out selling beats as well. I'm not gonna go into like a whole breakdown of who I am or like my background, but just very brief. My name is Chkody and I have a type beats channel on YouTube. I've gotten a couple viral videos. I made a Lana Del Rey beat that I think is sitting at 400,000 views, and another one called Sirens that's sitting at about 750,000 views. I've been able to work with artists like Shea Zamora, who you might know off of his song Pretty Little Devil, which I helped produce. I've also worked with artists like Cupcake, Chersey, I think that's how you say his name, I'm not entirely sure. Super chill dude, he's awesome. Sarah Rikis, and many other artists that I don't think I can even recall off the top of my head. I've also had my beats placed on TV, like the PGA Golf Tour of last year. One of the artists that used my beats was featured on an episode of Catfish, so my beat was on Catfish. So I wanted to make this type of video because I'm sure if you're browsing YouTube and you want to be a music producer, or maybe you are and just feeling a little stuck, I'm here to tell you that I'm not the dude going to tell you that you can make $1 million selling beats or make $1 million selling sample packs. You can absolutely do that. But personally, I'm not at that level yet. I want to make it a little bit more realistic of what that journey looks like. So first up, I'm just going to get the most generic piece of advice out of the way first, which is find a niche. You're gonna hear that a billion times on YouTube. Everyone's gonna tell you to find a niche. It's so difficult to describe what that means per individual, because finding a niche to someone could be like, well, I'm going to make like Wi-Fi skeleton type beats. And then another person will be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna stick to making Drake type beats. Both of you wouldn't be wrong, but one of you is probably going to succeed more than the other. And the reason why I say that is not because I'm trying to downplay what your goals are, but it's simply just how the YouTube algorithm works. And once you understand how the YouTube algorithm works, then it's pretty much game over for everybody else except for you. And I've done this twice, right? I've found niches that were underserved, and I even started a different YouTube channel called Lavoti, where I made Freddie Dredd type beats and SB type beats. I don't know if I could say their name on YouTube, but these two guys. And the reason why I did that was because I really liked their music and I really loved the Memphis sound, and we're already doing pretty well, and I'll leave some screenshots over here to prove that. But my main channel, Chkody, right, where you may know me from, solely started off as a Daniel Caesar R&B type beat channel. And yes, it occasionally worked, but for the longest time I was making, my channel was all over the place. I was making R&B guitar type beats, I was making Brent Faiyaz type beats, I was making indie rock type beats, I was making Clairo type beats. None of them ever landed. None of them. And then all of a sudden, I randomly posted a 1975 type beat and a Lana Del Rey type beat, and it worked, right? I got over 1,000 views. I sat down and I was like, okay, the Lana beat did really well, and let's just make another one. And then I said, well, who's an artist similar to Lana Del Rey? And I was like, Billie Eilish is up there. And then I became known as the Billie Eilish guy, which then led me to expand beyond that universe into making Weeknd type beats and Artemis type beats and Clem's Casino type beats, because all of them are kind of correlated in some way, shape, or form. And even beyond that, I posted 2 Travis Scott beats and maybe some A$AP Rocky type beats, and honestly, they didn't do it half bad. And the reason why I'm saying find a niche is because once you find the thing that gets you over 1,000 views, YouTube's algorithm is more likely to reward whatever your next video is going to be. And I don't know the exact metrics behind it, but my rule of thumb is if a video surpasses 3,000 to 5,000 views in the first 48 hours, that's kind of like the next video you can do a wild card. And don't make it so far off of your niche. For example, if you make J. Cole type beats or JID type beats and you get your wild card, right? Your audience is not expecting you to drop an Arctic Monkeys type beat. That gives you room to drop maybe like a Don Toliver type beat or something like that. So find your niche, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? And I see this happen all the time. There's artists that I've never heard of, and the producers who are making type beats in the style of those people are getting millions of views and they're doing fantastic. I'm sure they're selling like $10,000 worth of beats, if not more, every single month on their BEATSTARS. Number 2, okay, we're past the basic generic advice that you'd probably hear from everybody else. Reinvest every single dollar. Every time you sell a beat, every single time you get your ASCAP check, your publishing, if you are getting that, put it back into your music. Buy lights, buy a keyboard, buy an acoustic guitar mic if you play acoustic guitar. This was one of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard, because I decided to invest in myself early on in my music career, and I bought Masterclass. Deadmau5 had a Masterclass, and that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that he ever gave. And honestly, I have to give him credit. It's worked really, really well for myself. The reason why I say this, and there's a bunch of different subcategories under this reasoning. One, you can write it off. But two, it helps your music creation. A cool guitar, right? This guitar over here in the corner is completely I only play it on occasion, but there's another guitar behind the camera that I always play because it just sounds way better, and I decided to invest in myself and I wrote it off. Also, with investing in yourself, Mix with the Masters is great. This is not sponsored at all, but Mix with the Masters is awesome, especially when you start really getting into music production. And yeah, people are messing around with a lot of analog stuff and you might not know what they're talking about. It is really cool that they have like discounts on some of the biggest brands that don't normally do discounts. They give you discount codes, they give you all these different things. They have a million plugins for you to pick from. Watching another music producer in their own workflow and learning what separates them from another music producer, their creative workflow, the plugins they use, or what their thought process was for making a song. Some of the best ones on there are hands down Jason Joshua, Ilangelo, Phineas. Jack Antonoff is also really, really great. Really odd recording process, but really, really unique and cool. Number 3, going off of the content creation idea, I guarantee you guys would never know about Cymatics if it wasn't for their best, like the best email reputation I've ever seen out of any music producer. I always get their emails. They're always pushing out emails every single day. Chkody, same thing, making YouTube videos. I guarantee you one of you has seen one of his YouTube videos where he's describing what makes a melody in a specific song work really well, you know, how to make vintage samples. I know that's his big thing. Again, email samples being featured on like the biggest artists' songs and being able to capitalize on that. Content creation is so much bigger than people seem, right? Like, I don't mean that you have to sit in your chair and talk and, you know, describe what you're doing. But content creation, again, like I said with Cymatics, like, email marketing is huge if you don't have email marketing. But email marketing is content. And I could go on and on and on for days about how well email marketing is used. And when you finally build up a big enough audience and your email reputation is really high, you could see like 2,000 people opening your email and 100 of them clicking on your Beat Store, which conversion rate wise, according to the industry standard, is pretty good. And that's 200 people that visited your beat store, giving you plays, and potentially going to buy one of your beats. And that's just because you made an email happen and built up a big reputation. And Chkody and Cymatics will obviously describe the same thing. If they didn't have this massive email list of people who love their stuff, trust their music, trust their work, trust their process, they would not be having, you know, $30,000, $40,000 a month selling just sample packs. Number 5, probably the most underrated tip I could give is just learn an instrument. You don't have to go full on music theory nerd and, you know, watch all these videos about, you know, I don't even think I can name one because I don't know any music theory. Learning an instrument lets you stand out from the rest of the crowd, because anyone could go into a DAW and click on the piano roll until something sounds good. But once you start learning like guitar, or maybe even like do something silly like, you know, record yourself playing like a recorder, that helps you stand out from the rest of the crowd like that. Even learning guitar, one of the biggest things, and one of my best buddies like in the music industry, Dutch, he obviously plays the bass, he plays the guitar, he knows his keys, has one of the biggest pages on BEATSTARS and is doing really, really well, and has sample packs with Splice because he makes like post-punk and dark wave, and all those require a certain level of skill of playing an instrument. Playing an instrument opens the doors for you as a producer because you're showcasing that you have a certain skill that maybe another producer might not have. I know there's this big thing with AI now where it's like, well, I could just have AI like make me an acoustic guitar loop. Like, yes, you're not wrong, but at the same time, does that help you? Does that help you become a better musician. And I feel like it's a little bit backwards to want to be a better music producer and, you know, show up to the studio getting the most authentic recording that you possibly can and showcasing your skill set to other people, which helps you open doors to other opportunities, rather than just being like imagine going to the studio and someone heard your acoustic guitar type beats and you show up just with your laptop and you open Suno. And I guarantee you the artist you're working with is not going to call you back. So learning that skill set, showing up prepared, showing up ready to work, they're going to be blown away because not many people can do that, especially now, because I feel like there's so many cop-out ways of not learning an instrument. It translates, is what I'm saying. My final tip is be consistent, learn the algorithm. But being consistent has separated me from everybody else. It took me over 5 years to really get in front of any sort of audience. And yeah, I was making a little bit of money here and there. I would sell a $15 lease like once a year, or get lucky enough to sell an exclusive lease the next year. When you are consistent enough and YouTube is finally rewarding you, you know, you have to basically work as if you're already making that money and it's your job, right? It's your job as a music producer of what you signed up to do, which is to make tight beats and upload as much as you can and upload your best work. And the more consistent you are, the better you'll become, which all ties back into, you know, learning an instrument, getting familiar with the YouTube algorithm, you know, automating your stuff, and, you know, reinvesting in yourself. Because once you start reinvesting in yourself, I guarantee you, you're gonna surpass 80% of the game. If this helped you at all, drop a comment. I'm also dropping a sample pack really soon. So if you want to be notified when it drops, you can sign up for my email list below. The sample pack is going to be more of like a multi-kit. So there's going to be 50, 60 presets for Analog Lab that you can just click and play. The drum kit's gonna have over like 300 sounds in it, so I've been working my ass off trying to finish it. And there's gonna be loops in there, audio recordings of me playing guitar and bass and all these different things, and my own processing ideas, I guess you want to call them. But it's gonna be really cool. So if you like artists like Clams Casino, Billie Eilish, Artemis, Chase Atlantic, it's gonna be more in the style of them. But I'm hoping to expand it in a way that kind of translates over more into like basic pop needs. I do, however, have a mini kit which you can buy for $10. Definitely worth it. I'm gonna end it there. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. I'll catch you in the next one.